Hey everybody, welcome back to Champnsons and our brand new Madden 23 Detroit Lions franchise series, and this should be a fun one. The part that I'm really loving about this series is it's not going to be a complete rebuild. So first we're going to take a look at the offense side, where we do have some weapons. All right, we have Brown and Shark coming in at high 70s, 78, 79 on the receivers. Jared Goff is our starting quarterback, Deandre Swift running back. And we have a decent offensive line. Okay, so we do have some problem areas, right? Coming up here in right guard, he's a 70 overall. That's not really what you want to see. Um, Jackson being a 78, these are our two lowest rated offensive linemen. So it's going to be kind of tough to get them brought up to speed. Penei Sewell being a right tackle. We have um, some veteran leadership at least. And one of the biggest things I think we're going to run into is Goff at quarterback. Now, you will notice at some point you will see we have Mr. Chase Champion, graduate of the University of North Texas. He's coming in as a 74 rated, was about 96, 98 in NCAA. He's 74 right now to start out his career. He is basically competing for the backup spot just because he's not ready for the NFL. I don't care if he's rated better than Goff, he's not ready. Goff has got some capability, right? He's a guy who can make some of those passes. His problem, obviously, is going to come in with mobility and in some points, accuracy as well. One thing I've noticed about Madden 23 is trying to make an accurate pass while under pressure is a pretty difficult thing to do, and I go with the classic throwing style. I don't do the new way. I found it annoying, and I just really didn't like it. So we've got some room to improve there. Okay, so we have the weapons on the outside: Shark, Williams, St. Brown. We have a decent running back, Deandre Swift. Now, one thing I will say about Swift, and I really picked this up from watching Hard Knocks and hearing Deuce talk about it, is Swift has to hit that hole. That is one thing that's a little bit harder, at least for him in Madden, and that's probably because the offensive line and run blocking is kind of tough, mainly because the defensive line is so kind of, I guess, as my kids would say, OP these days, as far as getting past their blockers. So we're going to have to figure a way to play smart on offense. How best can we get Shark out in the open? Use Hawkinson coming across in the middle, get the ball to him in the flats. Allow our passing game to kind of complement the running game and vice versa. That's what we're going to have to try to find that careful balance of, and that's going to be the biggest struggle, I think, coming into this franchise series, is trying to find that. As I've mentioned, Goff and his accuracy can be kind of tough, and you kind of saw it right there. If he could place the ball and lead guys open, that would be a major benefit. He struggles with that at times, right? And granted, in this game, this is the third preseason game against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is a decent defense, right? And we all know Madden pass coverage and all that, at least right now on an all Madden setting, which is what we're playing it on, it can be kind of ridiculous, okay? And we are playing with Mat 10 sliders. We will be making adjustments as we go throughout the season, this first season, before we settle down on a set of sliders that we really do like. So Goff, I have a feeling, is probably going to struggle. And that's why Chase is the backup, and you see him kind of making some plays here right now. We're trailing by 16 against Pittsburgh. We brought Chase in the second half. I needed him to get work in with the starters and used to that starting defense type of pressure that he faces. But you kind of see some of the problems I mentioned about our offensive line. We don't have the greatest of blocking, so a lot of our passing game, we'll take our deep shots when we can, but for the most part, it's going to have to come from shorter, quick passes. We're going to have to hit a lot of those drag patterns, and we're going to have to make those catches. We do kind of struggle with that. Some of our guys, Shark tends to drop some. St. Brown can tends to drop it if you have pretty early contact after the catch. So we're going to have to work to get these guys into the open is one of the biggest things that we're going to have to focus on. And that's where I think our struggle with the offense is going to come in. If you, like we just hit right there, if we can hit some of those quick pass plays and we can get that ball out fast, find those zones that the defense drops into, and we can find those quickly, it'll allow us to be a lot more efficient. And the way our offense is really set up and designed, it will give us maximum ball movement along with basically maximum success. Now, we are going to have to, like I said, retool some of the offensive line. Sewell is getting old. He is an 80 overall, but he's getting old. So we're going to have to look at the right tackle along with our right guard. On the left side of the line, we have some veterans, but no one that you could say, well, that guy's old. Get him a cane. Kind of football age old. So our line, we're going to have to focus on the right side, interior and tackle as well. Hawkinson, he's great, but I have a feeling he'll probably become a re-sign problem as we go into the free agency and having to re-sign players. And that should be an interesting thing to kind of see as well. You know, Lions were 3-13-1 last season. And so we're gonna aim for some success. We're obviously not, I don't think, going to be a playoff team in season 1, but we need to at least double up those wins. And having some of these guys on the outside like Shark can allow us to do that. You see how he just stretched the field right there. We have that potential, but we're gonna have to find a way to make that happen. Long passes like that, the deep ball is not going to be our game. We have to take advantage of it when we can, but focus on that short to intermediate passing routes while getting the run going. We're going to have to find a way to get that run going. And I know from previous Maddens, if we stay consistent, we should be able to do that and actually have a pretty successful offense. So that one will be interesting to see. Now, looking at our defense, this is where I think we're going to have to put most of our attention to, whether it comes free agency and the draft, okay? We got Hutchinson in this last draft. Great pick. Okay, that was a fantastic pick in the first round. But we need some additional guys. If you look at our ratings overall, on the defensive line, I'll say it's decent. Hutchinson, Brockers, and Harris are pretty decent. Hughes and, AO on the outside, I'm not sure. I mean, they're pretty highly rated, but we're going to have to focus on getting some depth there. If you notice, it's kind of a drop-off when it comes to the defensive backs. Safeties, we're okay. Walker the third and Elliott, those are pretty good picks, but we definitely need to see some development. Our biggest concern, I think, is going to come from the middle of that defense, basically the back portion of our back seven, or our back portion of our front seven. Is going to come from the linebacking core. Anzalone is kind of that leader there in the middle. We're going to have to find someone else to step up. I mean, we really are. They're not highly rated. We're talking mid-70s at best, and so it's going to be a problem. Now, on our defensive line with Harris and Hutchinson coming off both sides, I think we can generate enough pressure coming up that we can cause some inaccurate passes. We can get some sacks. And that's going to help us out with field position. It's going to help us out with pass coverage. But God help us on a play that we don't get that pass rush. People are just going to end up being stuck almost wide open. So we're going to have to focus on that. And, yeah, there it is right there. You'll notice we didn't get the pass rush we were looking for, and Trubisky was able to just heave that one down the field to find his man. Who was that? Pickens, I think. Looks like it. But he was able to find his guy wide open there. So we're going to have to work out how to formulate our defense to be better for us. And zone blitzing, yeah. Or sometimes we're going to have to adjust it per game, right? Some are going to end up being zone blitzes. Others are going to end up being man-on-man, full zone, or just basically we're going to have to bring the pressure. We're going to have to bring lots of blitzes. We're talking about 2 out of every 3 plays. Is what we're going to have to look at. But if we can get that pressure, that's the only way I really foresee our defense being truly successful. Now, Trubisky's not the most mobile quarterback, so on some of these more mobile guys, And, to start the season, we play against the Eagles with Hurts. He is a mobile quarterback. If we can't contain him, we can get all the pressure we want. But if he gets out of the pocket, we're SOL. Okay, here we are getting a lot of sacks on Trubisky because, and by the way, the pass blocking is at like 45 or 50 right now for CPU. So that is what it is. But, right, if we let him get out of the pocket or any other mobile quarterback in the league get out, we're done for. We're not going to be able to stop him at that stage because the reaction time from defenders, whether they're in a zone or they're in a man, is just absolutely god-awful. That's kind of one of the couple of things that we're going to have to be dealing with on the defensive side. Look at the interior line, our defensive tackles, cornerbacks, and linebackers. Those are our three main focuses, and odds are that sounds just about dang near every position on our defense. So that should be interesting to see. And I know everybody's talking about year two, you have crazy free agency stuff happening. If that does occur in ours, I'll mention I don't want to just start trying to re-sign guys. Depending on how successful we've been, I don't think a lot of them are going to want to come to our team anyways. But I don't want to just take advantage of that little glitch in Madden. So we'll look to primarily do a draft kind of rebuild on the defensive side and even the offensive side too. But go to the draft mainly. I'm not going to do a real roster draft or anything like that. It's going to be completely auto-generated. That's just how I like to do mine, preferably. So that's how we're going to be doing it. And I'm not really sure where to go with first. I want to say linebacker because you get a game-changing linebacker like the Cowboys did with Micah Parsons. That can just open up all sorts of possibilities, right? So we're definitely going to need a linebacker, and then we're going to need probably 2 defensive backs. So we might have to work some trades in the season, depending on how our year's going, what's available, to look at getting additional draft picks to try to truly build this team from a young crowd. Rally our defense around Hutchinson and see what other youngsters we can't get picked up here over the next few years and try to get this team into the playoffs. Last season, in real life, they started out 0-8. And then they finished, They finished 3-5-1 in their last 9 games. It wasn't the greatest finish in the world, but hey, it showed marked improvement. And that's what we need to do is look to build on top of that. And that's where I think the struggle is going to be in this first season. 1, getting used to the game. And 2, just knowing that when you have a team that's as low rated as this, no lead will ever be safe. Right? We're going to be talking, one drive will be able to change the way we have to play our game. And also, one thing I noticed about Madden, I'm not sure about on the other skill levels and all that, your game plan, we're going to have to be careful with that. Because if you pick the wrong game plan, you will be paying for it for that half. Whether it's the first half or the second half, you are definitely going to be paying for it if you go with the wrong selection. So we're going to have to figure out what works for our team and who are we playing against that week. Where I can't imagine us right now going with anything too consistent. And that's a problem. That does worry me, is we have to have that consistency. I'm just not sure I can see us at this stage being able to stick that out, being able to pick one way or the other. We are also going to have to get turnovers, right? That's one thing that we're going to have to do. At times in Madden it is pretty easy. The interception stuff in Madden 23 is absolutely ridiculous. So, in that sense, I have turned down the interception rating to, was it 5 or 10? I think it's 5. It's 5 or 10. I would have to double check. So, just for the sake of argument, we'll go with 10 right now for both teams because you keep it at 50, good Lord, it will be absolutely ridiculous. You will see defensive linemen making plays that even Michael Irvin couldn't have made in his prime. So that's why we did turn that one down. Tackling and all that stuff, we kept at about 50. Kept right there at 50. Pass, QB accuracy, I haven't touched that for either one. Because in all reality, I look at our defense, and I've seen a lot of NFL games where you see some guys start out 10 for 10, 15 for 15, 12 for 15. I've seen that happen enough that QB accuracy doesn't really concern me. And if we can get pressure, then we can really impact that accuracy as a whole. So that's going to be on us to actually pull that off. Penalties, they are changed up a little bit. Holding and offsides and false start are all boosted up to 60. Nothing major there, but it's gonna be interesting. And the way the passing game is done, the way receivers battle for it, sometimes I know before if you switched, it would be automatic pass interference. We'll have to see how that goes and kind of play out this season. But our defense is not going to be the side this is going to have to be a full team effort. Okay, now you're seeing some brief glimpses, some of the better plays from both sides of the ball for us. So we've got a long way to go. And I really am excited to get this thing started, to truly get this series underway and see where we can take the Detroit Lions. So with that in mind, go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you have not hit it. If you have liked today's video, you're excited about the series, you're enjoying Madden 23, give us a thumbs up. Hell, give us a thumbs up even if you hate Madden 23. We all know it's got its issues, right? But give us a thumbs up. And so also, I do want to thank y'all for all the support that y'all have shown us here at Champnsons Gaming recently. The subscriber count's gone up drastically. It's crazy to see. I love it. Thank y'all very much. So on that note, I will see y'all in the next episode against the Philadelphia Eagles. So as always, stay safe, and well, y'all know how it goes by now, right? Later, y'all.